As you witnessed in the previous episode, sometimes you're going to have scroll views with a ton of children to scroll through, and maybe your users would like to access a view that's somewhere deep into the recesses of your collection. You don't want them to have to spend a lot of time scrolling to that point. There's a better way. It's called Scroll View Reader. It's a view that uses a scroll view proxy to allow programmatic control over scroll position. But you don't just give a position as a numeric value. Instead, SwiftUI allows for you to target the scroll to specific points on specific views. In this exercise, we'll be programmatically scrolling to a random subgenre view from each genre. This is not an example of a giant scroll view, but we'll get to those in later episodes, don't worry. This will be a simpler example to learn from. Hit Shift-Command-L, make sure you're on the Views tab, and drag out a scroll view reader. Scroll view readers can encompass a scroll view, but they also can work as the content of a scroll view. And that's what we'll use, because the scroll view won't need the scroll view proxy, but everything within it will, so that's better scoping. What we'll be scrolling to is a selected genre, which we'll store as a state variable. And let's start that off as being the first one in the list. We can respond to changes in the selection using the onChange modifier. Drag that out from the Modifiers tab. You can use this to respond to whatever changes you might need. We need selected genre. And this proxy is only good for one thing, scrolling to some kind of ID. That really can be anything, but it does need to be hashable, as you can see. Genres are hashable, so we'll use the new selected value. I don't think the word value is helpful, so I'll switch to $0. And now we have to match up views with genres in a way that scroll view proxies understand. That is with the ID modifier, which we'll add to the random subgenre view. By default, the scroll to ID method will only scroll just enough to make an identified view visible. Instead, if you like, you can use the anchor argument to tell the scroll view exactly where to target on the view you want. Let's go with top. All that's left now is to add UI to change the selected genre. Let's do that with a menu button in a navigation view. To add that view, you can use that trick of embedding the scroll view in anything and then changing to a navigation view. The inline title display style will be fine for this. Add a toolbar. With a single item. That is a menu titled Genre. Then, for each genre, add a button with its name, that sets the selected genre accordingly. try it out. It works! But if you programmatically scroll to one of the views, manually scroll away, and select the same genre again, nothing happens. So set the selection to nil when it changes, and that will solve that issue. And this list is small enough that animated scrolling might be nice. Put the scroll method inside of a with animation closure to do that. But you'll need to give the argument a real name now because the shorthand doesn't propagate to the nested closure. It's a genre. And although scrolling to the top of some views is nice, it's not appropriate for the ones at the bottom for this layout, so let's just delete that argument. And there we go. As you've seen here, scroll view readers aren't very complicated. Most of getting them to work involves setting up a system for providing something that their proxies can work with.